Hey. Gotta get
Hello,
make
Paul.
sure I get my helmet on for my bike ride here,
Yeah.
get all Canadian official there.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Paul, it's May 4th.
May the
No,
4th be with you.
yeah, and,
Woo!
I know you got that green light tubes, those tube ones behind you there.
Green's
I
best color in
actually
the world,
picked up
man.
a new green light tube today.
Ooh, and a green light tube, really? Oh, Luke Skywalker.
It makes sounds. It's awesome. Yeah, it's not ready
does.
for the studio yet, though, so we'll come back to that later. So, yeah, we have a fun one tonight, Paul. This
Ooh.
is someone we planned on, like, day one having on
Yeah,
the
we were like,
show.
"We gotta get this guy."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, some of his shots were borrowed for our intro.
Very nice, Philip.
Him and Sydney and Say Park and a few people stays in the room tonight too. What do we got in here, Paul?
We have got a lot of people. Mr. Camera Junkie, got Say Park, Brazilian Air View. Whoo, ZB vlogging, yo. What's up?
I can't see who's always in here because it's coming from 3 channels tonight. So, but anyways, we got a fun guest tonight, Paul. So should we just introduce him?
Hey, yeah. Yep. Bring him on in.
All right.
All right, what should we make a video about this week? Looks like Sony's got a firmware update for the A7S III. That could be something. And it adds Sysinaton, Asynetone, Sysinabon, Acinetone, Acinetone. Oh, I get it. Sony Cinematone, S-Cinetone. Okay, that makes sense.
It makes total sense.
It makes 100% sense.
What's going on, Dunna?
Hello. Thanks for having me, fellas.
Yeah. So we got you in a little bike helmet. It looks like you rode in today, huh?
Yeah, I rode in today. I'm riding the bike again. Yeah, I did that one video back in the day. I was going to ride my bike to work, and I was going to be a proponent of, saving the environment and whatnot. And then I rode my bike like 4 times and stopped.
Well, now you can walk
in that video too, which is funny, is if you watch, you're like, oh, and I mapped out the trail, and here it is, and you're like, it's like a 10-mile trail, like biking into work. What did you say? It was like an hour or something?
It took like an hour. Yeah.
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 That's too far to bike to work.
I got the one wheel, and then I started doing that instead, which is way less work, significantly less work.
Yeah. I'm still attempting to take my like boosted board to work one day, but it's only like 3 miles away too. It's just that
really close.
You get burned in the calves, man. And those one wheels are probably the same, but the boosted board, same deal.
I would be freaking out on I went one wheel in with a guy in a parking lot just to see if I could even do it before I spent like $1,500 on one of those things, and I was like, maybe I could figure out how to do this, but I kept falling. I felt like, oh man.
Yeah,
so
I've taken one big spill that put me out of commission for a while, and it was a little tough to get back on after that. But it's a lot of fun once you get the hang of it.
Hopefully, you don't have a camera in your hand.
Yeah, no camera. I almost fell once with a camera in my hand, but I managed to be the only thing that got hurt in that case because I had a big cage on the camera at the time, and like the top handle like dug into my hand or something like that. But other than that, I caught it, so it was okay. Funny enough, actually, I noticed in your logo, in the Creator Camp logo, it very much looks like it's me on the one wheel.
Which is really funny because it was when I got the logo made, I was like, hey, could you I showed him a picture of Josh Yo. He was riding around on one wheel. I said, could you put a guy on a one wheel just holding like a camera like that? And I don't know how he pulled it off, but he made it Dunna, because
yeah. I'm just a generic YouTuber, you guys.
Right.
This is I mean, me and Kyle look pretty similar.
You say black that shirts. I was gonna save this for later, but I think now is the time to just say this. So we dug into let's just bring in this chart. So according to the very super scientific research model of human traits commonality mapping, aka the TVSSRMHTCM, this is the subject research results of Dunna Did It and Kyle Watt's comparison chart. As you can see here, you have camera, YouTube channel, music producer, vlogs, redheaded wife, and black t-shirts.
Yeah.
And that all just equates to being pretty much the same guy. So
we're basically clones.
Yeah, that's probably why I liked your channel at first, is because I was like, this seems familiar. I don't know.
So now the goal of this live stream is now to find ways that we differ from each other. See if we can do it.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I think there's
Might have to start shooting on a Canon right now, I guess. I don't know. Do I have one here? No, I don't. Sorry.
He's going for the Becky and Chris background, and you're going for complete. Well, I guess you're doing like the Becky like guest room vibe there.
There
like
you go. I'm in the guest room right now.
Yeah. Well, I commented on your video the other day. I was like, I was waiting for like Becky or Chris just to pop out of the corner and like wave or something.
Yeah.
The video felt very.
Becky gets a lot of text messages when I'm decorating or making any decisions in the studio and stuff. It's like, how does this work to make it functional and to make it look good at the same time?
Which is like a huge part of the battle.
We're on Justin's channel.
Who's Justin?
Who's Justin?
Who is this Justin person?
I mean,
I've made the mistake once of saying like, "Oh, it's a good video, Justin." And people are like, "Who the hell is he talking about?"
Is your first name Justin, not Dunna?
My first name is Justin. Yeah, my last name is McDonough, which then became a nickname in probably in grade 11, like when I was 16 or so, and then it just kind of stuck. Like my mom calls me Dunna now. Like
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Shelda Art's in the house here.
Shelda Art. Really,
it's everyone's got comparisons to you, but like, how often do you get the the Peter McKinnon thing over on your side?
Yeah, it's been a little bit less lately. It started out as like you're copying everything Peter McKinnon does, filmmaking wise, and then it just turned into like you look like Peter McKinnon. When I clicked on the thumbnail, I thought this was a Peter McKinnon video, just like lots of that kind of stuff. So
did you make more thumbnails that looked like that too?
I tried my best. Yeah, I was gonna grow out the hair. It just didn't happen.
Facial. I gotta get more tattoos. People. What
That's how I found Chris Brockhurst. Is I clicked on a camera that was floating on a desk. I thought it was one of your videos.
I messaged him when he started doing that, or when he first did that one, and I was like, how many people clicked on your video and thought it was one of mine? Because I had just done a bunch of those. Like I made it like a thing. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do all floating stuff, and then one of my first videos that really kind of blew up and grew the channel a lot was my how to make that floating camera or whatever. So that was too funny. I bug him about everything. Anytime he does something that I already did, he gets a message about it for sure.
I saw some post before where you were like, where are you hiding the camera in my room? Because he always puts out a video like right before, like as you're making it or something like that.
Yeah, totally. Because he makes so much content. Like he's just like, I swear he's putting out 3 times as much content. So I'm taking my time on a video idea, and somehow he's like put out that video and then another 2 while I'm still working on the first one, and I'm like, well, should I still do this or?
Yeah, I mean I feel like I did the same thing on a couple of mine where all of a sudden you put one out, I was like, oh, literally I have like exactly the same video, like almost structured the same. And it's like
lots of space. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just put it out.
A video or something. So like I've been using like, was it Babus Nuave or whatever the font name is for years on YouTube stuff, even my old channel.
Yeah.
And like I started using that as my background stuff on like my old channel. And then you did that like text behind objects thing, and I was like, oh, my thumbnails are starting to look like that now too, but maybe someone will think our videos are that. So
well, I've moved on from that, so if you want to go back to it,
it's still stuck in it right now. Like,
that real estate is open.
Yeah, for me it's just like it's a style that people know at this point, so
yeah,
I'm sticking with it. Except for I made a funny hangover thumbnail this week. So
Camera Junkie said I act like I already knew his. I actually did not know his name was Justin until tonight. I just found out tonight. Seriously, I had no idea.
I can't believe that. How long have we known each other, Paul?
I had a feeling that maybe Dunna wasn't really your real name. My wife and I talked about this in the restaurant tonight. Actually, we went out. We were going out to eat. She was like, "So who's your guest tonight?" I'm like, "Oh, we got Dunna Did It," and she doesn't watch YouTube at all. She has no much. Oh, okay, and I was like, "His name's not Dunna. Like it's like the Kyle Watt's name, right? I'm like, no, I think his name is Dunna. She's like, no, you ask him tonight. I guarantee you his name is not.
Yeah. Well, his is more direct. Like McDonough, that's easy. It just goes to Dunna.
Right.
Yeah.
Mine's Walton, which everyone started just saying Watson for some reason. And then they got lazy and just started saying Watts. And then that stuck. I just had a lot of like Twitter handles and whatever. It was Cletus Watts for a while because it was like this funny another story. But so I just switched it to Kyle Watts a long time ago and it just stuck. And now I have all the Twitter handles and Instagram handle. And once you have that, it's, you know, like I think you did that. You had Dunna Beats and Dunna Music and Dunna something else. And I think you just shortened it to Dunna Did It to incorporate them all, right?
That was exactly it. Yeah, because it was all, I mean, before YouTube, it was all music, and I was trying to be a Justin Timberlake, Nick Jonas type pop person. Trying to do my thing back in the day, so it was all about the music, and so now I can do whatever I want.
Yeah. Well, I haven't been in my recording studio in like 2 years at this point.
Yeah.
Like the guy that I work with, he's just pumping stuff out now. But I thought for sure we were going to be busy. You know, when the pandemic started, like bands are going to want to record now. There's nothing to do. Yeah, no, not at all. They all hiatused. Like my band hasn't got together in 2 years itself, but we've put out 3 songs somehow. So like they're still recording between households and sending DIs across and stuff. So
yeah.
But yeah, I haven't been there myself in a while. And the guy that's working there, he's getting like really good and he's getting like millions of views on like YouTube videos with some of the bands he's doing, and it's crazy. But at some point I should probably go back there and do something. So, but yeah, you're not going back to your studio obviously anytime soon because you just moved across
it's in
the
a
country.
different province.
Yeah,
and I've got the same deal. The person that I left in charge with it is just busy pumping stuff out. But I'm I don't know. I got to this point where I switched over from YouTube being part-time and music being full-time, and then I kind of swapped them, and it's nice now because I can just do music when I feel inspired to do music. I'm working on I work with one artist named Beppy. It's a children's artist. We were actually nominated for a Juno a couple of years ago, which for those who don't know is kind of like the Canadian Grammys. And so I'm working with Beppy still, and that's kind of the one like ongoing project that I still have musically that I do a lot of the writing and production and stuff for. But yeah, that one's fun because I just get to kind of do whatever I want, and I like literally it's my job to act like a 5-year-old and try and figure out what like children will enjoy. So
yeah.
I mean, I like when you were like making your own like royalty-free music too for your channel. You're just making your own little background beats. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. I really
waiting for you to send me one of those.
Sorry.
Still waiting for you to send me a couple of those.
Yeah,
I was gonna make like a heavy version of those. A couple of those.
There you go. Yeah, I started and I was looking into ways that I could, license them and stuff and like get them so that people could, go onto my website and buy them for whatever that they could use. Like, if you can't afford the monthly Epidemic Sound or Music Bed or whatever it is, like you can grab these couple of tracks and like they'll do you until you grow your channel or whatever. And I cannot figure out a reasonably easy way to like, I mean, I would just have to go honor system. I think like,
right.
I purchased these, so I have them, so I'm using them on my channel, I guess. But I tried really hard to find a legit way, and I even hit up a couple of those companies. And but the stuff that I was making was specifically kind of just like 8-bar loops, good stuff to just like kind of talk over. Like if you're doing review videos or whatever, you just need like 3 minutes of something that doesn't get on top of your voice kind of thing. So it worked really well for my live streams and stuff, because a lot of those licensing companies it doesn't actually cover for music during live streams. There's like some kind of different stipulation between a recorded video and a live stream, and so like my Music Bed stuff doesn't work during live streams, and so I just use my own.
We haven't had any problems so far with Epidemic on this one because all of the music from all the videos and stuff on here. I am worried about though, like when I'm using a clip from someone else's stuff, is that going to do some kind of like, are we going to have to buy like all 3 of them just to keep ourselves protected on that? So I might actually even reach out to Epidemic and see if they'll just sponsor this show and like allow us to, because if like you're sharing the video right now on your channel,
Yeah.
So if you're not running Epidemic, like you could run up against some kind of strike at some point somehow.
I never even thought about that.
So yeah, maybe if we get like
There you go.
Epidemic to run it, we can just get it cleared ahead of time.
Are you guys
before
getting me into legal trouble right now?
that. You can delete it when you're done if you want.
I have Epidemic anyway, so I'm all good.
Of course, they have the best 80s music. Come on, links down in the description. So I'm curious. Do you know anything about like? So you do, since you do music and all that stuff. I mean, I think we're all three of us here musicians. But do you have you ever looked into like what it takes to get your music onto like one of those platforms like Artlist or MusicBed? I'm curious how the artists get paid and how they get their money. You know.
Yeah, they're all a little bit different. So like with MusicBed, they're actively searching out like bands that are legitimately trying to like make it as bands, and artists that are legitimately, which has been really neat lately. There's they've got some connection with a bunch of Edmonton artists that I happen to know. So they just added Josh Sahunta, who's a person that I know from the Edmonton music scene, and my buddy Connor Shaw is like on one of the tracks and stuff. So I've been seeing some familiar faces pop up on MusicBed lately, which is cool. But it's like their process. They don't like purchase the music. They like go find these artists and then they sign some kind of a contract to it, but they don't actually own the music. So it's not technically royalty free. You're like purchasing a license to use it in a certain way. Mm-hmm. Epidemic is a little bit different, whereas as far as I'm aware, and I mean, take this all with a grain of salt because I'm not like inside these companies or anything, but I think Epidemic actually purchases outright the music. So they'll go find either or have relationships with some kind of musicians or producers or whatever, and they'll go like buy your music from you, like buy the rights to your music so they can kind of do whatever with it that they want. And so then I think it's easier for them to make it royalty free because they're not having to like, the artist isn't also trying to get that placed in ads on the side, right, doing something else. Whereas I think that the artists that work with like MusicBed can obviously be doing something else with it. They can be like making other deals and whatnot with it. Not 100% sure on Artlist. I know I submitted to Artlist when I had my folder full of YouTube beats, thinking that might be a good fit because they had kind of some more of that like stock footage or stock music loopy stuff on their site. And I got turned down, unfortunately. Yeah. But I didn't really get any insight into whether they were buying outright or if they were doing it more the way that MusicBed was. But yeah, so that's kind of as much as I know. They're all a little bit different, and we're seeing more and more of those companies pop up. It's really nice as a creator, as a video creator, to be able to be at the point where I can have a couple of them, because all of them have their strengths and weaknesses, or for certain types of projects, some of them are just easier for licensing and that kind of stuff. So like having a couple of them. Yeah, Artlist is just, I always use that for like the, when I was doing commercial stuff back in the day, like anytime I would do freelance stuff for somebody else. MusicBed is by far my favorite as far as the actual music that's on there. It's like, and partially because they're hunting down artists and stuff that are like legitimately trying to make it as artists. It's not necessarily music made for videos. It's like the stuff you hear on the radio, basically, which makes it feel super legit. So
I know at like NAB, I ran into the guys who were in charge of like Soundstripe.
Yeah,
and they were handing out cards, and they wanted. I might try some of their stuff out, but they were kind of making it sound like they have like bands that they hired to make music for the platform. So it's like a little bit different, but I haven't really gotten to look at it yet, so I'm not sure what it exactly is, but that might be an option too. You could look into if you want to try to put that back out there again with some of the Dunna beats, but
yeah, Yeah, someday. It's always kind of like, it's that funny thing where you're like, I have this great idea because I have this skill set and I'm going to do it. And then you realize how much time and effort it's going to take to make
when
that
I started
happen.
the travel vlogs, it was like, I'm going to just make my music for every video. One video. That's all I did. And it's like, I'm not doing that again. We're just going to buy Epidemic. Screw it. Like, it's a good song. But, not happening. So, speaking of A&B, though, we missed you at Vegas.
Yeah, I didn't. I still haven't made it down ever. So one of these days, it's this funny thing where I think this one was the first time that I really felt like I was like, okay, I know enough of these people that would have been really fun. Whereas like in previous years, it was like I just wasn't as connected with the kinds of people that were going and stuff that it would have been. I don't know. Like the conference itself is one thing, and I think that like that's kind of cool if you're into like looking at that, but it's way more about the people.
Most of it was definitely not something that I mean, like a chunk of it was for like stuff that people like YouTube creators would be involved with, but most of it's like Hollywood lighting, computers, like stuff that's way above what we're doing there. But that's why it ended up being like Condor Blue had a booth, and it was just that was where everyone went. Because it's like it was just the central hub of everyone. And like I know Dave Mays and Tyler, or no, someone was doing a podcast the other day, and they were equating it to basically being like it was like Hammer Camp. They said they were like everyone was there. It was like everyone's after parties were meet up. Like we did a stupid In-N-Out Burger meetup that just got like people were there until 3 a.m. taking pictures of this like crazy looking bird. It was kind of funny, but. I mean, it was great. It was for me. I liked it because I met a lot of people there that I've been watching for 4 years, and it was just kind of cool to see all the connections and people putting aside any of the statistics of whatever they have involved with their creations and channels and just hanging out and stuff. So that was kind of pretty cool.
It's inspiring when you get together with other creators. I love Camera Camp. I wish I only got to go for one day, but I was like, my mind was just like, I was in heaven.
If I had a nickel for every time that somebody who was at Camera Camp said we need to bring back Camera Camp, I would be a very rich person.
Yeah, well, according to Sydney, it's when, not if. So it's insane.
He's very confident.
Well,
is he putting it on? Is he going to pay for it?
He's working that Sony show now with Jenna.
I guess, he's got the connections in Sony.
I can't even imagine how much that costs Sony to do that whole event, because they like flew you guys in and took care of your like lodging in that like really nice dude ranch. Which is really cool.
Yeah.
They allowed 100 of us to join in for one day. And we had to pay for our own like plane tickets and lodging out to X. I feel like they could do it, and people would still pay to fly down there and be a part of it, even if they, I don't know.
Yeah, it was cool. We tried to calculate it at some point, like, and we're like, okay, like if they're, obviously like it's like a marketing budget thing, right? And so they're like, okay, well, if we can get X amount of people and this percentage of them make videos about it, and then we can sell that much stuff. Like it's like all part and parcel of the whole. They had products coming out kind of thing. So we tried to figure it out at one point.
Job of listening to the like. I feel like a lot of the A7S3 like design, I don't know now. I don't know if it was always like that, but they added the flip out screen, and a lot of the creators were like, "This is what I want to see on this camera," and they did a really good job of implementing a lot of those things.
Didn't Chris say, like Chris and Becky basically said that there's something that was in one of the new cameras that they're like, this has to be something that I talked about.
Yeah,
I can't remember what it was, but
I was in the session where they had these little feedback sessions you could sign up for, and I was in the session where Chris brought up, I think it was active stabilization, because he was like, GoPro and such have this like active stabilization. If you could give us a little bit of that in your future cameras, and it was like they were like, oh, okay, like, write it down kind of thing. And then like when the ZV-1 comes out, all of a sudden it's got it in there, and so yeah, it was cool. They really definitely did like listen to what we were saying out there. And it was the way that I was talking earlier, talking about it being like a marketing opportunity and that kind of stuff. It's like, I applaud the use of it that way. You know, it's a really smart way to do it, I think. You know, not only from the kind of marketing standpoint, but they also get the feedback. They also get to have like relationships with the people that are promoting their products, kind of thing. So it was cool. It's
I'll probably get everyone on the same page with the products that are coming too. So
yeah,
and they got a lot of creators to kind of, I don't know, really consider Sony. A lot of them weren't on Sony, like Jevon Dovey wasn't really. He was still on shooting Panasonic. Mondo Bytes was still a huge Canon person until finally the FX3 came out and it really kind of turned around. But I mean, I just remember there was a number of creators there that weren't all Sony shooters. They did a really great job of implementing and inviting a lot of other people who were not just team boy Sonys. You know,
I'm gonna quick throw this up because this is an inside joke from Vegas. This is Ian from Aperture. Milton.
Yeah, Ian's
so Milton is the name of the bird that we saw. That was just the most Vegas bird you'll ever see. When I say that we spent 3 hours making jokes about this bird and filming it, I'm not lying. This is the highlight of NAB for us, is hanging out with this scraggly bird. I don't even know what you would call it, but
you know, Kyle.
That's awesome.
Are we actually gonna? Did you get the man to come back today?
Bert is back from Vegas. Bert is our host for the game show. Last week he didn't show up because he stayed in Vegas. I don't know where he went. He just disappeared.
That happens.
Like a couple weeks before that, when we went down to Texas, he was out in Hawaii. He missed coming back from that show as well. No, he came back, but he was. Didn't we find him in like drunk in his hotel?
Yeah, he was
something like that for Boo. Yeah. So yeah, he's back tonight, Paul. So don't worry about that.
And the hotel billed us for that. You know, we had to pay the cleaning fee for that one. That was not good.
You have to watch Vu's video for that one. You'll see. But yeah, if do you want to bring Bert in? Is he here? He's here right now, right?
Yeah, but you're the man in charge of that. Is he here? Is he here?
Let me look over at the graphics here and see. Let's check it out. Everybody's favorite rec center at the Creator Camp. This is the game that tests your knowledge. This is Know Your Creator! I'm your host, Bert McElroy, and tonight we'll be going head-to-head with our guest on who knows our creator best. Rules of the game are simple. All you have to do is answer 5 questions correctly, and the contestant with the high score at the end wins the game on Know Your Creator!
Hey, Bert. Nice of you to finally join us tonight. Where in the world were you last week?
I found a party in Vegas and it didn't stop, Paul.
Clearly it didn't. Nothing stops in Vegas. What stops in Vegas? My goodness, bro.
All hours of the day. Then there was some bird that hit us. I don't know where that thing came from.
Milton? Yeah, that bird. Yeah.
So you heard the intro. We're gonna do 5 questions. Unless you guys tie, then there's a 6th question. But this is going to be Paul, 5-0 Paul, up against this Dunna guy. What's his last name? Paul, what's this guy's name?
It's Did It. His last name is Did It.
Did what? What do you do? All right. Anyways,
we're not going to go there, Bert. Sorry.
Dunna guy here. So I think let's just get right into these questions. You guys got some paper, iPad, whatever it is?
Oh yeah, but I'm going to use my phone. Because I always forget paper.
We just don't want Paul to be green over here. We don't want to find out he's the Bill Belichick of game show creator camp.
Yeah, I'm not cool enough to have a pen, an iPad, Apple Pencil, Just get my finger,
I'm gonna try and make it look fancy.
If you guys are ready, in the episode Meeting a Dinosaur, while everyone else was busy making a Nook Shooks on the other side of the hill, what was someone else building on the other side of the hill? So people were making a Nook Shook, whatever the hell that is, on that side of the hill. What was someone making on this side of the hill?
Oh, man. I feel like I'm a noob right now.
I don't know if... Oh, that's going to blow out, isn't it?
Paul?
I have nothing right now. I think I don't even know. I would say like rocks or something. I have no idea. I remember he mentioned rocks on the I just don't know. I do not remember at all.
Can you see that?
What is it? A chair?
All right, let's run that answer.
So while everybody else was busy making Inukshuk's on the other side of this hill, somebody was over here making an armchair. Not really. It's made of rocks, so not really.
I said rocks. I got half a
But
point, right?
the answer was a rock armchair. Not quite, Paul. So we gotta have someone have to tally up the
He
points
only
in the
got
thing because
half a point. He got chair. No, he didn't get.
I thought it was implied because the Inukshuk's were also made out of rocks. Like we were at a rock valley.
Okay. We'll get to you.
if you combine your answers, it was actually correct.
Yes.
So I could only just give you half a point for each. But we're gonna give that point to Dunna. So if you guys in the chat want to add up the score, it's Dunna 1, Paul 0. Paul,
I'm gonna be the first one.
Territory for you.
I'm gonna be the first one to beat Paul.
Oh, see. He pulled one out of his ass last week against Terry.
I did not think I was gonna beat Terry.
I did not either. Question number 2. In the video, don't buy a full frame camera. Sony APS-C versus full frame. Dunna had to choose between the APS-C camera and the full frame camera. Which one did he pick?
I don't know. I can't remember. We're just gonna go with. He was a huge APS-C fanboy, so I'm gonna go with APS-C.
Might want to wait till he answers, Paul. We don't want him cheating.
Oh yeah, he might cheat on my answers. That's for sure. Yeah.
That's a long answer.
That is a long answer.
How do we do this? How do you want me to reveal it?
Paul already showed his. Run that clip.
All right, you guys. Which one of you is coming with me today? Full frame or APS-C? Well, it's obvious, right? Full frame is better, so I should take that. Wait a second, what if I want to do some vlogging? That flip-up screen would be super handy. But on the other hand, the full frame depth of field is pretty sick. Although now that I think about it, I have some f1.4 lenses that get just as shallow for APS-C, but I can go so wide on full frame. But if I shoot telephoto on APS-C, I can get even closer because of the crop, but larger pixels equals better quality. Or lighter package makes more room to carry around snacks. You know what? Screw it. I'm staying home and watching Disney+.
Paul, you're getting your butt kicked already, Paul, here.
Did you just freshen up and put a tie on?
No. I've been wearing this the whole time. What are you talking about?
Okay. Okay.
So
I'm glad I made so many
2
weird
points.
skits back in the day for you guys to pull from.
You know, this guy, I go back and there's nothing saved from Burt McElroy. And I went back and there was some videos that I remember, but they weren't there. They magically disappeared this week before this game show. If I remember right, there's some hip hop lyric videos and there's some embarrassing stuff in there that maybe someone wanted to hide from Burt McElroy.
I cleaned house to make my views look better for sponsors.
If that's the story you want to go with, and not
that's
Burt McElroy,
that's
fine.
the PR story that I'm supposed to tell everybody.
Okay. Well, with that said, question number 3. Dunna Did It's channel is known for camera reviews, camera gear reviews, videography, photography tutorials, vlogs, music producing, but there's one video that just doesn't fit at all, but somehow it still made the cut. What was that video? Doesn't fit at all on the channel. Somehow it still made the cut.
All right. I think I got this one. I'm pretty confident in this one.
Okay.
Pretty confident. You go first. I can't erase. Ooh, that's a good one. I think did you really do a video on that? This is what I remember.
That kind of sounds like a vlog to me. I don't know. Let's run that clip.
How to cut a
I mean, I see
you
where
go.
you're going there, Dunna, with making the cut. Shaving would have made sense. But that just seems kind of like a vlog.
You know what? It was a bit more of a tutorial, and the reason that I got caught on this one is because it didn't make the cut, and it got pulled from the channel recently. So you would have found it. It was before. It would have been in with all the music, lyric videos and stuff back before I started vlogging and stuff.
But this one made the cut, so.
Yeah, well, it's unlisted, so now that I think about it, you wouldn't have been able to find it.
Nope. Although maybe I could have found a way. We'll see.
Yeah. I'll send it to you after, just in case you want to.
I mean,
trim out some of this stuff.
I figure out how to cut a pineapple when I was working at a restaurant. So, for these like catering plates. I mean, come on.
I'm sure Paul probably just did a quick thumbnail search down the last couple days.
You said you were asking some weird questions, Bert, so I had to do a quick, sweep through there, and I do remember that one. Yes, Bert.
So we got Dunna 2, Paul 1. Catching back up. A couple questions to go.
Oh, the pressure is
4.
on.
Are we able to swear on this channel, Paul? I can't.
What?
Swearing aloud on this channel? I can't remember.
Bert,
well,
you can do whatever you want.
In the video, F this video. What does Dunna say is one of the most important things that everyone knows about Canadians? In the video, F this video. What does Dunna say is one of the most important things that everybody knows about Canadians?
All right, I think I got it.
This should be an easy question for a Canadian.
It should be really easy.
But there are a handful of things that everybody knows about Canadians.
What's the most
important
that everybody
thing?
knows about Canadians?
You said it yourself. You should know.
I'm drawing a blank on this one, fellas.
I did not expect this one right here.
All right, Paul,
I'm hoping I get this right because I don't want to give it away.
This
because
is a classic Canadian joke, I think. You got any guesses?
Wait. Hold on. One sec.
We're gonna do a guess.
It's taking a really long time to write that.
I think I got one.
We need a roadcaster.
We need a Dunna beat.
Show the answer. Run that clip.
Cut right to the chase. I'm Canadian, which obviously means that I ride a moose to work, live in an igloo, and I eat a lot of Canadian bacon, or as we call it, bacon. But one of the most important things that everybody knows about Canadians is that we love maple syrup. So when I found out that there was a company called Syrup making photography equipment, I was ecstatic. Now when I found out that it didn't have anything to do with maple syrup, I was a little disappointed, but I'm still really excited to give this sucker a try.
Comes in with the last second answer.
Yeah, not only did I guess at it, I nailed it word for word too.
Paul, what did Paul actually write on his again?
Oh, I deleted
maple syrup.
Maple syrup.
Okay, so basically, what he wrote, the actual answer was, we love maple syrup. So yeah, he got it exactly right. But of course he would, because that's how he would say it, right?
I had an unfair advantage. I mean, I should have an unfair advantage with all of these.
I was going to get you, but I was very shocked. If you didn't get that one, I mean,
you know what it was is I forgot what that video was about because all I remembered in that video was like dropping a filter off a bridge or something like that, and like running out of batteries the whole time. Yes. I remembered the part where I was like, "Why am I saying F this video?" Not the part what the whole video was supposed to be about.
So we got 3-2 on going into question 5. We might have
doesn't make any sense.
6. We might do it anyways. We'll see.
How could it be 3-2 going into question 5? I think it's 3-1. You're giving him unfair points.
No, he just got maple syrup and pineapple.
Oh, I guess that's true. Okay, I get it.
So I'm also both uploading the 6th question because it only allows you to put 10 in there at once. So anyways, question number 5. In the video, welcome to Dunna Vlog 001. What was the snack of choice for Dunna? It's the video where Dunna decides to start vlogging. He has a very unique choice in snacks.
You got this one, Paul?
see that. Let's see that answer.
So I've decided to start vlogging, video blogging, vlogging. Wait, hold on one second. All right, now I'm good. So I've decided to start vlogging. I don't really know what that means yet, but I think that's part of what I want out of it, to figure out what that means for me.
Who is that guy? He looks so young and
What's this video blogging? I don't understand.
Video
Isn't it blogging?
blogging.
That guy doesn't seem like he knows anything about anything.
Oh man, that's bringing up all the embarrassing moments for me.
Yeah, well, you know, I said we weren't going to do the tiebreaker, but I mean, it's not tied, but we could just have fun with it anyways and just ask the question.
Let's go for one more if you got it.
Paul's going to take his first L unless you don't get this answer, and he does. So let's not run the clip. Let's ask the question. In the video, Toronto Vlog 2019, it stars a handful of celebrity special guests, including YouTube stars like Jesse Driftwood and Kristen Becky. Near the end of the video, this one megastar stole Dunna's camera and took over his channel. Who was this person?
oh,
Someone stole his camera and took over the channel. We're going to have the first answer that's a stump. Toronto Vlog, Chris Becky, Jesse Driftwood. Yeah. Someone at the end of the video stole your camera and took over the channel. Told people to subscribe to him instead.
Unbox Warehouse just said Paris Hilton.
That's definitely not the answer.
That's not it. I don't remember running into Paris there. Are you looking it up, Paul? Yeah, that's not.
No, I'm not. I'm listen.
Well,
I'm
you know what? I think neither of you guys got it right, but let's just show the answer.
Yeah.
That wasn't awkward at all. Subscribe to me. You can say right, Dunna. Just subscribe to me instead. I'm taking his camera. He doesn't know it yet.
Oh, I totally forgot that we saw Chris there.
Chris was
that
like
was where I met
like
Chris.
Like 10K subs back then or something. I don't know. I have no idea.
So you met Chris Brockhurst in the streets doing photography or something?
That's basically, yeah. I think you might have like given me a ride to the airport or something like that in that video. I forget.
Probably where he planted the secret spy cameras on you so he can steal all your content.
This is answering so many questions. This is how he knows all the videos I'm going to make before I make them so that he can make them first. While running a wedding video business and putting out 3 times as much content as me.
Yeah. Well, Paul, I hate to say this, but Dunna, you've won Know Your Creator.
First. All right,
we have a winner. Bob, tell them what they won.
Complete sporty compact car. This cozy den, including oak and cane wall units. This fun garden patio, including a mahogany fun tub for 2. This fabulous gold bracelet watch. And just look at this great 1976 station wagon.
And as always, thanks for watching. We will see you next week on Know Your Creator.
Yes.
Man, how did I know?
Well, Paul, if it's any consolation, Paul, you can join me in my mahogany fun tub for 2.
What's that?
I said if it's any consolation, Paul can join me in my mahogany fun tub for 2.
You know, Mike from Unbox Warehouse once sent Paul his Back to the Future VHS camera, like the actual, like the correct one. Yeah. I don't know where he found it, but he just sent it to Paul. I'm like, Paul showed me. I was like, wait, someone gave you that? Like that thing's like valuable. Oh, there it is, right there. Yeah. Paul, at some point, nice. I feel like I should play this game because I feel like I'm pretty good at knowing the creators too. So, just throwing that out there. I'm tired of being backstage here watching the show.
Yeah, I feel like you could probably do all right. Maybe.
Yeah.
little prejudiced if Bert makes all the questions, though. I mean, don't you think?
I mean, he doesn't share them with me. He doesn't share them with you either. So I mean, but Paul going down. Dunna's the new champion for the. It's like Jeopardy now. You get to stay for the next show. You get to go up against.
I hope not. I don't know anyone else's channel nearly that well.
Well, next week is Dave Mays, so like you can go up against him on knowledge of his. Well, what channel? He's got like 9 channels out there.
Yeah, what do you even do for Dave?
So, yeah, and I asked him about the whole S-Log kerfuffle from Twitter a while back, and he was like, "Oh, I was just trolling." He knows that.
What was this?
Oh, he posted something about all the work to put into S-Log just to make it look normal again, and like everyone on the internet just started like, "Screw you, Dave." It was really funny, but
that was funny. I think I probably took that way too seriously.
Oh, everyone did.
how I've grown up. Now I just don't take anything seriously.
Well, he posted something a couple weeks ago that was like, "Hey, I'm shooting a wedding with a ZV-1. What should I use for like color profile?" And every answer was standard. And I was like, every single person, standard. And he's like, "Are you guys sure?" Like he was thinking like he had to go shoot it. Well, he showed me that video though. I would have never guessed. Like it looked like a classic wedding film. And I was just like, that's seriously the ZV-1? It doesn't look at all like a ZV-1. That was crazy. So
yeah.
But
that's awesome. ZV-1 is way more powerful than I think people give it credit for. Yeah.
I always bring it with on trips, and like it depends on. I just feel like sometimes it makes it out of the pocket, sometimes it doesn't. But like running around NAB, I felt like it was more fun to have the better camera sitting out on that. So
yeah, although I just went out trying to film myself, filming shots for a lens review, and like having 2 full frame cameras and like big lenses and stuff. It's just like such a pain. So I've been thinking more and more about, having one smaller camera or whatever. So
well, they're great for overhead rigs.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really hoping to come out with a version 2 soon, or this year, or maybe I don't know. I'm kind of holding out for one. At this point, I don't really want to buy the version 1. I'm just holding out. If their version 2 comes out, I'm buying that and making a ton of videos because Kyle's just been milking it on his content over there.
I just want 10-bit in everything. Sony,
yeah.
Give me 10-bit in all of your cameras, please. Now, immediately. I will buy them all.
It'll be ZV-2 for sale with 10-bit footage. Price $24.99. Like what? That's what I don't know. I'm just waiting for all the A7 IV updates to go to the A7S3. I'm getting a little bitter about the fact that I have $1,000 more expensive camera that doesn't have some of the features. You know how awesome bird focus would have been? iFocus with Milton and Vegas. I'm sorry, but
yeah,
it needs to happen, and I don't know why the firmware update hasn't happened yet. So,
Mr. Camera Junkie just nailed it. 10-bit APS-C. That. I mean, 10-bit anything. Like, I feel like people will pay for the ZV-1 like form factor. The fact that you can throw it in a pocket, or APS-C form factor, like the smaller sizes. Like, I want that, but I don't want it to be also a quality drop because I can't grade, S-Log 3 or whatever. I want to be able to shoot it the same way as my other cameras and match them easy and all that kind of stuff.
Well, that's. Last time I went down to Florida with Paul to visit Paul at we have this thing where I like doing we do weird camera reviews at Disney, which is the obvious place to go to do a camera review. In a Disney park, which is funny because people always come up to you and they're like,
"Oh my God, you do a Disney vlog? What's your channel?" Well, not really, no.
But so we did the last video we did. There was the Crane M3 with the ZV-1. We were touring the world, which is really just Epcot. We went through all the countries, did a little montage. So Paul sent me his A7C footage, I think it was. I had my A7S3 footage, and then we also had the ZV-1 footage. I shot everything in S-Log on the A7S3, and then everything else was standard. And I'm sitting there editing this stuff, and I don't know what it was. It was a very cloudy day. I'm like getting done with all the footage. I'm like, God, like the ZV-1 and the A7C actually look better than my like graded footage right now. And I don't know if it was just because like maybe the white balance was a touch off or something, but there was something I couldn't get it to look like. That A7C straight out of the box just looks good.
And the funny part was too, all the footage you got was 120 frames per second S&Q mode, which is like 7-bit files, or like the bit rate is like way lower on those. Like it's not like the A7S III where S&Q mode is the full like 100 megabits or whatever,
Yeah, and they still look good though. And I was just like, well, now I have to make my footage look more like these other cameras. So I just like upped the contrast and upped like the color a little bit and just made it look a little bit less. Yeah, I kind of overexposed the background just to make it blend in. So, but it's at the ZV-1 though, like if you do it right, it can look really nice.
Mm-hmm.
But it also can look like a 10-year-old camera at times if you're not paying attention. And that's another reason why one of my videos never came out at Disney, because we were doing like a full frame versus ZV-1 at Disney comparison. And I was like not paying attention at all, just winging the camera around, and it looked so bad. And I was like, I don't want to show this. This is not good for the camera.
I really want a A7C too with 10-bit, like pretty much same specs as like the A7 IV. That would be awesome.
I just find it funny, Paul, that you have an A7S III and you use that A7C like way more.
It's pretty sad. I do use it a lot. So I originally bought this camera I had a A6600 and an A7 III. I upgraded the A7 III to the A7S III, and then I was like, well, I want my wife to be on full frame. Like, so the APS-C camera was like the camera that she used when we went out to shoot photos together. And I was like, I want her to be on full frame. So I want to get this A7C, then I'll have a flip out screen and she can shoot, she liked the size of the body. So it'll work perfect for her. And then I end up using it probably more.
So I'm just going back in the chat here because I haven't been looking. So someone put Dunna's always in trouble.
Really?
And I don't know, some other font thing. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
who turned me on to that font was Karen Nate.
Oh, okay,
That's all their subtitle font, and that was just my go-to as well. Because when you're doing a travel channel, that's of course you guys are looking at people like them. So
yeah, you got to have some like Tropical House, and you got to have some Beba Nu, or however you pronounce that.
Speaking of travel, is there ever any talks about rebooking the traveling to Italy?
I don't know. I tried to do another one with Trova Trip, and it didn't get quite enough people to make it a reality. Apparently, I just don't have enough people that like me.
Well, it is expensive. I mean,
enough people that like me enough. That's what it is. No,
well,
it's something that I would love to do, like do some kind of a workshop-y / travel vacation-y kind of thing with a bunch of people, because my audience is really nowhere near me. So that would be the way to do it, like to do like a meetup.
Travel to Victoria, right?
There you go. I think I have more people that know me out here than it was back in the last place I lived, but my audience is still like mostly in the States. So I just got to do a US tour or something like that and do meetups in all the major cities. But I feel like the way to do it would be to like go somewhere, or even if, get everybody and go back to Alberta and go to Banff and do some hiking or something like that.
So bad. Like,
I want to go to Banff.
I know you see all the videos and stuff, but it just looks like one of the most like picturesque places in real. Like, I can't imagine that in real life looking any different than it does in those photos. Even like, so he's done it.
I love this. Yeah. I love this thing that just popped up from Greg. It says, "Hippo character wearing cool sunglasses comes out of a treasure chest, tossing coins around him." Is it describing, like, am I not seeing something here?
You got a $50 sticker chat. Yeah.
Oh, is that what that is? Oh, Greg. Yeah. I was chatting with him earlier. Greg, for anyone who needs to know how to shave, who missed out on my shaving video, Greg has a great channel on shaving.
Was this the same guy that did the like cutting your hair in one of your earlier videos too? Or was that someone else?
I think that was somebody else.
Okay.
It's very random.
You really dug into the vaults there, didn't you?
Bert did. I didn't. I just told
Bert,
Bert where to look. So,
okay.
but yeah, it's nice though looking back at, I say it every week, but everyone always subscribes to a channel and then they usually follow forward. They don't necessarily go back. But when you have these channels, like some of these subscribers that have, 500,000 subscribers, what made their channel is those early bulk of videos or that middle bulk of videos that propelled them to where they are. And there's some really good videos in those spots. So I entice people to go back to their people that they watch on YouTube and go watch some of their earlier videos. I mean, don't go to the first few because probably not the greatest videos on the planet, but they're funny. If you like that person enough, those videos are going to be good. So.
Yeah. It's cool. It's a cool learning device for yourself too. Go back and watch your own early videos and see, even watching some of the clips and watching, what I would have cut that down, or I was rambling there, or I said the same thing 4 times in a row, like that kind of stuff that now I know better to the point where as a creator, I'm not even doing it in the first place. It's not like I do it and I know to fix it and post. It's like now I just I get my thoughts more straight and I say them how I want them, kind of thing, rather than when I was first starting out, you're rambling and you're saying the same thing over and over, and it's super fun. But it's funny to go back and watch some of those early ones from people that you're catching on to, like you said, at the higher subscriber counts, because it takes a long time to get there for most people.
Oh yeah.
Some people they kind of hit cruise control when they get there too. So their videos aren't necessarily as good as their when they really put everything into their videos. So not saying names, but you obviously know what I'm talking about. It's a lot easier, and sometimes you kind of start running out of ideas, I think, a little bit too. So
that's definitely a real thing. Yeah. It's a little easier when you're. It was a little easier when you're a gear channel and there's constantly new gear coming out. But even that, I want to make gear videos that are different than the gear videos I made last year. So it's right off the bat, you kind of think, oh, I'll come up with a review formula. I'll fill out my review sheet and then they'll all be the same. But that, first of all, from a creator standpoint, that gets really boring. And second of all, I think from an audience standpoint, that kind of gets a little bit boring unless you're specifically going just to find out if you should buy that thing. But I think a lot of us watch YouTube for maybe a little bit of that, but then also a little bit of entertainment. I like to watch Potato Jet because he's going to talk about that thing, but who knows what he's going to get up to.
No, when we ran into him at NAB, he's running around with this 10-pound cinema lens on a GH6, vlogging on this. And you see him, you're just oh, Gene, come on. What are you doing? And then, he's going up to Josh and everyone. And he handed it to me. And I was just are you kidding me with this right now? This lens is ridiculous. But it's, you literally have no idea what he's going to do at any given time. So, but no, we were talking about this with Josh too, about putting more fun and entertainment. Josh wants to stop YouTube and make films. That's his ultimate, that's what he really wants to do.
Yeah.
So you see that in his videos where it's you watch it and you're just okay, so I have to compete against a feature film on Netflix about a gun review, So, but it takes a lot of time, but it just shows you it's so fun to watch.
Yeah.
And I kind of went with my NAB video. I could have just done the same video everyone else does, where you just, hey, we're at NAB and do this. But I'm thinking how does every movie start when they go to Vegas? It's always they're driving in, they're having fun. You got all the lights and the drone shots and all the quick shots of the lights. And I was I'm going to make that intro and then we're going to go to NAB because that's fun to me. Yeah. So I just copied and I did a bunch of tracking cutouts of all the different people who were hanging out within the video, put their heads on all the the people in the Hangover's car.
Yeah.
And, I made just a funny intro out of it. And it was, it fueled my creative side. And then I was okay, now we can talk about NAB. So
yeah. Yeah, that's cool. It's cool to find that kind of creative balance, even some of the stuff that you were showing there, the don't buy a full frame video that had the most angry comment section of any video I've ever made in my entire life. But like doing that with like funny little skit for the start was just like, it's just like, you know, you get your little creative jollies in. Obviously people seem to really enjoy it because it's one of my more popular videos. Obviously it's like a polarizing topic, so I'm sure that had something to do with it too. But like I think part of it is that it starts off in a fun way, and then people are like, okay, like we had a little chuckle with Dunna here, and now we're gonna settle in for the rest of the video and see what he has to say, kind of thing. It's like, it's also like a really good way to draw people in, you know, even with my reviews that I've been doing lately, these like little practical video tests. So it's like, I get the piece of gear, I shoot something, I make like a little short, or I shoot like even just like a montagey kind of thing, or I do a full vlog on it or something like that, and then put that as the example in the video, and people seem to be really, really eating that up. So it's just kind of reinventing in little tiny ways how you make your videos, and keeping yourself entertained while keeping your audience entertained, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think when you first started doing that, maybe it was the 20mm video or something like that.
Yeah.
My first like reaction was kind of like, I bet Dunna watches a lot of like Cody and Victoria, because this looks like the kind of thing he wants to do. And I was just like, I really like that video because, like you said, it's just like, you can talk about a lens all day long. If you're not showing it, it's pointless. And if you're just showing a couple clips, that sometimes is like, I wish I could see it more practical. And there's nothing more practical than climbing a freaking mountain and then doing some photos with it. So like that was like a really good video for that, even though it was some people weren't ready for the like vloggy, travel-y kind of content in the middle, but
yeah, honestly, the feedback on that one was super positive. I don't remember. I mean, in my brain, like the negative stuff usually stands out, and that one kind of showed me it's like, oh, people actually do want to see this. I've had people who legitimately just left comments that were just like, go outside. Like, we like when you go outside. And I was like, okay, so like, let's take this to the next level. I went and shot that 20mm video, and then like people, you know, comments like, oh, I forgot that I was watching a lens review. That was so awesome. Like that kind of stuff. And just like, I don't think anybody, as far as I remember anyway, and maybe I'm just blocking them out for my own mental health, but I don't think anybody was like, why are you wasting our time with this vloggy thing? Like, people just seem to be like, either they were watching it because they enjoyed the vlog part of it, or maybe they were sitting there pixel peeping and being like, what is this lens doing? What is it capable of? Like, you can it kind of fuels either type of viewer. So that's kind of a cool thing. And so ever since then, I think, like you said, that was the first one that I kind of tried that. And ever since then I try and do it. Yesterday I was out shooting with the 70-200 G Master version 2 and trying to do that, but trying to do like a hiking video with it, with the 70-200 is so hard, because I have to walk like 100 meters from my camera to get the shot that to get the like wide establishing shot that I want.
Have you tried using that Monitor Plus app?
Yeah, but the range is only so far. Yeah, it's good. My Alpha 1 has a pretty killer range. Like they added like 5G and stuff in some of the newer ones, and it's pretty good. But yeah, it was a little.
I was trying to do the same thing with the 70. I was using the 2470, but I was gonna do a 3-way camera battle, and the intro was gonna be the good and the bad and the ugly.
Yeah.
So I had to send one of the cameras back right away. So I was like, I'm going to get those shots real quick. So I have like the waist and like the super close up of the eyes. But the only way I could do it was that Monitor app, because you're walking like a ways away from the camera. And that had good range at least, but the 200, I can't imagine that working too well. So
it's a little tough. Yeah, the A1 did okay. I managed to get a couple of like self-portraits and stuff too at 200mm, like and it was like just in range. Like if I held it in front of my body and the camera was behind me, it would lose, like my body would block the last little bit of Wi-Fi that I had with the Imaging Edge app, and then I would have to turn around and get my Wi-Fi back or walk 10 meters towards it. Yeah, it was a bit of an interesting thing. My hike took about 3 hours longer than I thought it was going to, because of all the running back and forth. And
well, that and just cameras in general add an hour to everything. So
yeah.
Paul got me onto the Tamron 28-200.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting lens. If you're using it, like if you're outdoors and sunny, like you might as well just jump up to 5.6 right off the bat. Then it stays at 5.6.
Yeah.
But like it's kind of nice having like a really wide angle lens at 28. As far as like it's vloggable. It looks like the Tamron 28, but having it go to 200 in the same lens is awesome. Like,
yeah,
my wife
told me that, and we were up in Two Harbors, Minnesota, like Lake Superior, and he was like, he walked up to the spot to take a photo. I was like, dude, don't bother. I've taken that photo. It sucks. It doesn't work. It doesn't give you what you think it's gonna give. It's this awesome like valley, and all the way down there's a river going into the lake, and you're like, in your brain, you're like, that's gonna be a good photo. And he's like, oh, but I got the 200, and he zoomed it in. I was like, son of a bitch, that's a good looking photo right there. I was like, I need that lens, man. So
yeah,
I bought it. I found one for like $400. It was like a killer deal on it too. And
nice. It's 4 to 5.6.
Well, it's like a, what is it, Paul?
It's 2.8 to
2.8 at 28, and then it steps up to a 5.6 all the way down to 200.
When did they put that out? Is it? I
don't know.
It's been a while. It's the same motors that's in the 28 to 75 version 1.
And it's super light too. Like it's not a heavy lens.
Literally identical to this 28 to 75 as far as size and pretty much weight for the most part. When you put them side by side, you couldn't tell the difference between the two of them.
Except for this.
Yeah.
So it does extend a little bit further.
Yeah. That one snuck by me.
Well, I asked you about like what you used when you went to mountain shoot, because I went out to the Rocky, like Colorado, and I ended up bringing just this.
Yeah.
7S3, and
yeah,
I got some really good photos, and it was cool to be able to get all the way like popped in on those peaks. Although you're like having to like stabilize it on like a rock because it's not stabilized.
Yeah, that was the other thing with shooting the 70 to 200 sequence is like I'm at 200 and I'm all handheld, and it's just like I've got active stabilization on and everything, and it's still just like.
Yeah, I was in my video clip. I had to do like a side by side of like the range, and I think I just shot one in S&Q so I could slow it down and like so the wobbles wouldn't look as bad. So
yeah, I really need to use S&Q more. I'm always like paranoid that I'm going to miss out on audio.
So that's a funny story because I only shoot S&Q because right now my Mac just can't handle. I have like a maxed out 2016 iMac.
Yeah.
But that's why I got that computer is getting set up this week. But when we were doing the in and out photo shoot at Dave Mays' party, I handed whoever was taking the photos my camera, and I was like, just film the video, like let's let it run. I get home and I look at it and I was like, oh my god, I got like a 5-minute scene all in 120 slow-mo, like S&Q. I forgot to take it out of S&Q. And then Dave's whole like speech after the thing was all in S&Q. I was like, well, I got some sweet B-roll out of it, but that's all it was.
And if you were shooting in 120, but in the regular mode, you would have at least been able to like put it up at full speed, and it would have just been like overcranked on the shutter. But yeah.
But 120 is nice because if you have a computer that can't handle that 10-bit 422, like you put it in and it's just normal footage. So
you
don't have proxy or anything. So that I do like it for that factor.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it makes more creative choices to be like, do I want to speak? like it's fixed. It's just what it is. So
yeah, we got real nerdy. Do you guys always get real nerdy?
It depends. Honestly, a lot of times the chat room, like, kind of pushes this topic, like chats, different directions quickly, and that's what's fun about going live.
What I'm seeing here. So the ones that say paired, is that coming from my channel?
Your channel.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why we post all these like comments when we get them on the screen, because no one's seeing these comments on my channel if they're coming on yours and so on.
Gotcha. So like when Greg gave me the super chat there, and it was like the description of the whatever it was. Yeah. Okay. I understand now. This is new technology for me.
Yeah. When I started seeing those come in, I was like, who are those going to? That's cool.
Well, we get to. I should have warned you about this question, but so hopefully you'll just have to pull it out of the back of your head. But we always have a question that we always ask everybody at the end of the show, and let's play the video. So this question kind of came up just because like we were playing off the one time at band camp thing. Where just tell us like an embarrassing story of you shooting with your camera or something that goofy or along the lines of that one time at kind of band camp, or in this case camera camp.
Oh man.
I usually try to warn people about this question because it's a hard one to come up with on the fly, but yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, nothing is immediately coming to mind other than yesterday when I was out hiking and trying to shoot, and I had to cross this little stream to get to. There's this waterfall, and it was really beautiful, and I was saying I was like taking some self portraits, and I was like 100 meters away from the camera, and I was walking back to the camera, and I had to cross this little stream, and I had my phone in my hand because I was using the little app. And I was crossing the stream, and one of the rocks looked real sturdy and was not real sturdy, and it tipped, and my foot just went fully into the stream. And my phone, it was like it was in slow motion. It rolled off my hand, and it just did all these flips in the air like that. And I swear I saw it hit face down on the rocks in slow motion. And of course I'm like, okay, what do I worry about first? Like that my phone is broken and I'm kind of in the middle of nowhere and I won't be able to get a hold of anybody if anything goes wrong, or the fact that my foot is probably soaked. In the end, less embarrassing than you might think. My phone was fine, and I have waterproof shoes, so my foot was also fine. Right? I got the Vessies, yeah. And you know what's funny is I accidentally wore the Vessies. I should have known better than to wear the Vessies on a hike because they were not the most comfortable or hike-worthy shoes. But in this specific case, they worked out for me.
But if you had the other shoes, you probably wouldn't have gone in either. So
that's. I mean, I might not have lost my footing yet.
I got a pair of Vans MTE hiking shoe boots that are kind of like they're Vans, but they're also like 1 or 2 second dip in the water waterproof.
Oh yeah.
I had a time where I was shooting a motorcycle thing at my friend's house, and I'm like running, and then I kind of look forward, and there's like a little swamp. Also, I just put on the brakes, slid right into it. It was like, oh no! And luckily the camera nothing fell, but stepped back out. It was like, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
So I've been wanting those Vessies for a while though. Are they nice?
Yeah, I love them. They're super comfy too.
Might have to buy their one. Every time I go to buy one, they're always out of my size. So.
Thanks, Mike. He gave us all a $10 super chat. What a nice guy.
Hey,
Mike's
Glenn Coco.
One for each channel. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Boom. Yeah. So before we close out tonight, because we'll be going on for over an hour now. Do you have anything that you want to share, maybe interesting that might be coming up on your channel? What can people expect from you in the future?
I don't know. I just moved. I mean, if anyone's been watching the channel, I just moved. So life is kind of in this weird, I'm just getting back into my creative flow. I'm planning to put together, I've got a color grading course that I've been very slowly working on that was supposed to be done last year. I've got an A7 IV setup guide that I'm working on right now. And then a bunch of gear reviews. I've got a bunch of stuff coming up for cool gear. Lots of people were commenting about the gear tree that I'm using in my in my studio now. So I'm gonna try and figure out how to review that. And yeah, it's gonna be lots of gear stuff I think for a while, and then getting used to the island and seeing some of the new sites I think is gonna be part of what I try and do. Maybe I should take the gear tree out and see if it works in the real trees.
I mean, I don't know if you saw Josh Yo. He took Orbit out and hung it from a slack line between trees.
There you go. Oh, is that how he did it? I never got the answer. Yeah. He teased it on his Instagram.
Ratchet ties. It wasn't a slack line.
Yeah.
That's how he did it.
It'd be really heavy to take that gear tree.
He showed a picture of it, step back. I was like, okay, yeah. I just assumed he screwed it to a tree branch or something, but.
Yeah, I asked him how big the drone was that must have been carrying it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's, I mean, for a little while anyway, until I manage to make some extra space, it's gonna be good old Dunna talking about camera gear on the channel, and maybe a couple extras if I can fit them in there.
Does it get cold up in Victoria, or is it similar climate to Edmonton? Or?
Very mild. So Edmonton was like +40 to -40, and Victoria is like +20 to 0.
You're talking gibberish to me.
In Celsius, yeah. Well,
no, it gets cold. It's Canada. Yeah, I'm sure it's probably colder than Minnesota. So
Victoria barely gets below freezing, if that helps.
So you'll have some probably more year-round content. So that's a good thing too to have.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, when I come here and in the winter, it's tough to want to go outside.
Yeah,
it's hard to go outside because electronics don't like to work great in -20 Fahrenheit temperatures. So whatever that is.
That's cold.
One thing I've always noticed though is that like I'm used to the snow. I hate the snow. I don't want to show the snow.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's boring. It's just white, whatever. But then when you do the content that has snow, people are like, oh my God, I love these videos. It's so gorgeous. I wish you do more of them. I'm like, yeah, that's right. Because people like Paul from Florida love snow because they don't have to live in it. So
yeah, I had somebody ask me the other day, like, because I've been doing these daily Instagram reels for the past month here, and somebody asked me the other day, they're like, how do you take such like everyday things and make it look pretty? And I'm just kind of like, this is all like brand new to me. Like everything, it looks so different out here. So I literally get to approach it with like this like childlike curiosity, and like everything is new to me, so I'm excited to show it. So to anyone in Victoria or in the Pacific Northwest, it's probably really boring. It's like, oh yeah, they walk by that every day, same way as I do. But to me, it's like I've only been doing it a month. So
some places just look like, I know that was your vacation spot that you wanted to move to.
Yeah,
mine, I really want to, like, at some point, I don't know, would you go to like Puerto Vallarta in Mexico? It's like gorgeous. I know Chris went down there recently. And every time he showed something, I'm like, yeah, I know that place. Just go here, go down the street, go to this better, like,
yeah.
I'm like messaging him like, you got to go to Pancho Tacos. That's the best place to go. And like, it's like that second home away from home. But there's some places you just take a photo anywhere you look and it just looks good. So
yeah.
And it looks like that place looks pretty cool. And is that actually the island part too? Like Victoria? Like Victoria's on the island, right? So you have to boat to get there. Wow.
Yeah, Victoria is on Vancouver Island, which is a little confusing, but yeah, so you got to get on a ferry if you want to come over here. And I've also got just outside my window is the ferry that goes direct to Seattle too, which is cool. So I can hop over the border if I want that way.
Nice. It looks great over there, and you have a great view out at your porch there.
Yeah, it's wild. It is expensive to live in Victoria, and we lucked out and found a really nice place, but that made it like double expensive. So I'm glad that we took the years that we did to prepare for this, because it made it a lot easier. But
you see this as a long-term thing or a short-term thing?
Well, my partner's going back to school for 5 years minimum, so I mean the goal has always been to like live on the island eventually, but I think we've kind of opened up to the idea of like, we see how much we've changed in the past 5 years, so who knows what's going to happen in the next 5 years. Maybe we'll get to the end and we'll want to go back in. My big thing was I love the Rocky Mountains, so the only thing that would pull me away from this island is if I wanted to move back closer to the Rocky Mountains and live in like Calgary or Canmore or something like that. But I don't know. I'm loving it out here a lot. So
I'm still waiting for you to go make a trip out with Cody and Victoria and do a video though. I think that
well, we talked about doing a joint Trova trip thing because theirs went really well. And since I was making similar-ish content in my little fake vlogs kind of thing, and people were like, oh, do one together. So that might be kind of a cool way that I can make that thing happen, is if I mooch off them.
I mean, it'd be a fun video, and it looks like something you'd want to do too, because it's definitely, you can see that kind of steering a little bit into on your channel. So
yeah, I just want to play with their puppy.
Do you still own part of the music school? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I still have my shares in that. I just don't really do much for them. Technically, like I could pick up hours if I wanted. If there are projects that I wanted to do, I could do that through them. But I'm just not really I haven't really been involved in the past
year or so. At the start of 2021, when I went full-time YouTube, it was partially because YouTube had gotten to a point where I could do that, but it was also partially because, like, for the pandemic, it made sense. Sorry, I just got the whole live stream demonetized. It made sense that I come off salary, go to hourly, and try and save the company some money and that kind of stuff. And I've got another engineer in the studio now who's running things and is busy. So I just kind of very slowly faded away as far as my actual working role there. And yeah, a lot of my gear's still there.
All of my gear is still at my studio.
Yeah. I have like 3 drum sets there.
I actually sold my Kemper to buy this A7S III, so you got something out of that.
All right.
Because it was just sitting there, like, they were never using it either, so.
Yeah.
But I sold a Kemper to get a camera too. Switched to the Helix and got a Kemper and bought a camera. All right. Well, hey, Dunna, thanks a lot for joining us here tonight. It's been a little longer than we typically go, but it's been, I mean, I could continue talking to you forever. You're a blast. So just, thanks for being on here, and, maybe we'll catch you again sometime. So
yeah, you got it. Anytime, fellas.
Everybody go subscribe to Dunna if you're not already, but you probably are if you're still here. So we guys will catch you next week. We have Dave Mays, so feel free to join us again, same time, same place, right here at Creator Camp. So see you all later.